Sitting in my rocking chair is where he decided to seat himself, and with a sinister grin, his arms stretched out and pulled out like this strange clown face and said, "This is who I am." And I said, whoa, to myself, I'm going, wait a minute, get out of this bad dream you're in.
I hear you.
And I just had to composure myself, and I said, get out of my room. Get out of my room. You don't belong here, and I don't want you ever coming back.
And
before I knew it, the arm stretched back and snapped into its normal shape, and the face was gone. And the man just looked at me again in this strange face and said, "You'll never know, and you'll never tell." And I said again, "Get out of my room, get out of my room." And it stood up before me. It went in a counterclockwise spin into my hardwood floor until it was gone.
Oh, my God.
I have no idea if this is a real MIB experience or if I was just having a very bizarre dream.
Well, let us...
I had never heard of MIBs before this happened.
All right, let us ask the man who wrote the book, Case Book on the Men in Black. Jim?
So now you know I'm speaking truth. But, you know, as an example of that, this is really an archetype that goes a ways back. In the Macumba religion, which is closely related to voodoo, the men in black are very, very close to a couple of presiding spirits, or they call them saints. And one is known as Omnilu, or Old Black, and he dresses in black, and he sides with evil in this battle for the earth, and he prefers to hang out in cemeteries. The other spirit in this ancient African religion is called Exu, and he also is associated with black magic, and wears a black suit and a top hat, and he likes to hang out at crossroads, which in terms of ancient mythology and in terms of occultism, crossroads are well known as being very sites that are very pregnant in terms of paranormal manifestation.
Yes, that is correct. But that lady, what she saw, the way it disappeared, the paranormal?
We know everything about men in black in their paranormal manifestation, and it gets us nowhere. I mean, they might as well be an unknown species that we only cross paths with occasionally, like, for instance, Bigfoot, or I believe the panda was believed to be mythological until the turn of this century. We know everything about them, and yet we can't begin to say what they are.
And yet, what you remember the early description she said of the face, no lips,
right?
Lipstick painted on.
Mm-hmm.
Those stories that they wish to allow out, to allow a myth to grow that is not harmful to what's really going on, they allow out.
Mm-hmm.
However, when somebody stumbles into the real thing, then these guys show up.
Yeah, and you know, I'm thinking that this has never occurred to me, but I'm thinking that the UFO connected men in black are probably more frequently the government contact, whereas simple manifestations of these strange darklings who just scare the wits out of you may be more closely linked to the paranormal.
Uh-huh. East of the Rockies, you're on the air with Jim Keith. Good morning. Hello there.
Yes, me.
Turn your radio off, please, ma'am.
It's not on.
Okay, then whatever's in the background, please quiet it down.
Could you be quiet for a minute? Just a minute.
Thank you.
Okay, this is Sue from Fort Everett, New York.
All right.
Hi, Art. I love your show.
Thank you.
I thought I had coined the phrase, the men in black. I've been saying this since 1970. I had worked in a growing electronics plant out in Boston. And the engineer that I was working with was given this device brought in from, should I tell you the name of the company?
Sure.
Bendix.
I remember Bendix.
Do you remember Bendix?
Sure I do.
Okay. Well, John, the head engineer, had worked on this device for like 6 months. I don't know what he was doing. But at the end, they had me work with him for the delicate work putting this thing together.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, it was done, it was tested, and these 3 men in black came. And they were solemn, And you should have seen, I mean, everyone was running when they come in, and they took everything that we had done, all our work, our blueprints, this mechanism, and they left. And so I asked John after, I said, John, who are these men in black? And they told us this device that we had worked on was for fuel getting over 50 miles or better of fuel consumption on cars.
Ah, petroleum men in black.
Yeah. Well, I've been coining this phrase, the men in black took it away, for years now.
All right, well, here's one that's not so funny. Jim, when Nikola Tesla passed, there were men who showed up and confiscated every scrap of his work and his records, and they disappeared like that. You aware of that story?
I've heard it, yes.
Uh-huh. Think that sounds like something that you would attribute to the men in black?
It sounds pretty darn governmental, and just wearing I have a friend who spoke about wearing black suits and dressing in mirrored sunglasses. He was also bald, and he said that when he walked through the grocery store aisle, that people stepped out of the way. So there is something daunting just about that look. It sounds, like I said, I think there's both the governmental and the paranormal connection.
Gotcha. All right. Back in a moment. This is CBC. This is very interesting. And I want you to hear it, Jim. This is from SciTech's Ed Dames, a well-known remote viewer. With regard to the Dugway Proving Ground incident, he says, for individuals with certain classes of security clearances, anesthesia may not be administered except under strictly controlled conditions. If an uncleared doctor operates on such an individual, the doctor is subject to being debriefed by representatives, spooks, debriefed by agencies who need not briefify themselves, other these who need not B's and C's, these who need not B's and C's have to sign an official inadvertent disclosure statement. In other words, you will never repeat them. In other words, imprisonment. No kidding. If the patient happened to disclose classified information when under an assigned Men in Black kind of deal, huh?
In fact, I ran across some documentation on that just a few days ago. I'm currently working on a book about mind control operations in the United States.
Oh.
And I read a declassified CIA memo that talked about being that anesthesia should not be used agents when they had operations or whatever. I don't remember the whole of it, but it seemed to go right along with that.
There you are. All right, and this one coming from Wayne Green, who publishes 73 magazine, and could have come from Ed Dames. It says, hi all. It sounds as if my explanation for the Men in Black, May 29th program, is holding up. I proposed they are a cleanup crew from the future, sent back to change anything that has changed the future. Wayne Green.
Take that from a different angle. Perhaps they're a cleanup crew from the present, in the sense that time may be an illusion. And like I was saying, perhaps when people react to the trauma of a UFO encounter or some kind of a traumatic event, that is externalized to clean up their neurological situation, to reject that horror out into the environment.
Mm-hmm. West of the Rockies, you're on the air with Jim Keith. Hi.
Hello. All I want to say is that I'm in California.
All right.
About 2 years ago, I suffered an episode of missing time. I was out after I got off work late at night, and I was stopped at a red light, and then the next thing I knew, I was 20 miles away, and an hour had passed. And at the time, I didn't know anything about missing time or anything like that, so I just kind of let it go. About a week later, I was out, and I had stopped at a gas station and was getting gas. Again, it was at night. And I just remember this man being very tall and in a nice black suit walked up to me and told me that I was going to give him a ride. And I said, no, I don't want to give you a ride. Why don't you ask another man for a ride? And he kept saying, no, you're going to give me a ride. So I quickly put my gas cap back on, went around and got in the driver's side of the car, and I thought the passenger side was locked, but when I got in the car, he was already in the car. And he pulled me in, and I started to scream, and he told me if I kept screaming that he would kill me, that he just wanted me to drive him around. So I proceeded to drive, and he kept telling me, nothing has happened to you. You won't remember anything. And I ran a stop sign, and he looked over at me and said, I know what you're trying to do, and if the police pull us over, I will immediately kill you.